If you're shopping for a used SUV right now, you're being pointed at the same handful of trucks as everyone else. And the market has noticed. A clean third-generation 4Runner from the 90s now sells for more than a brand new one. Land Cruisers and LX 470s are collector money. The reliable used SUV list got so popular it priced itself out of existence. Meanwhile, gas just hit $3.94 a gallon. Every buyer in America is stampeding toward hybrids, and there are body-on-frame trucks with unkillable engines sitting on dealer lots for months because the badge on the hood is dead, unfashionable, or from a company that left the country. Nobody wants them. That's exactly why they're cheap. And the top few on today's list will outlive the new car parked next to them. Let's get into it. Number 12, Suzuki Grand Vitara. Suzuki stopped selling cars in America in 2013, and the moment a brand dies, its used values fall off a cliff. That's the whole opportunity here. The Grand Vitara is the last of a strange breed, a compact SUV with a real ladder frame built into the unibody, and, on the limited, actual low-range gearing. Not a crossover pretending. The 2.4-liter 4 makes 166 horsepower through a 4-speed automatic, so it's slow and it's thirsty for what it is, but there's almost nothing on it to brake. No turbo, no direct injection, no CVT, just a simple engine and a simple transmission in a truck that can genuinely climb something. You can find clean examples under $5,000, and you'll be the only person at the trailhead in one. The catch is parts, so find an independent shop before you buy, not after. Number 11, Mercury Mariner Hybrid. Here's a dead badge attached to an old hybrid, which is about the least wanted combination in the entire used market. And it's a mistake, because Ford built roughly 190,000 nickel-metal hydride battery packs for these, and across all of them, they logged a grand total of 5 reliability issues across the entire production run. New York City's Taxi and Limousine Commission put them into yellow cab service and reported 0 battery pack failures. The general manager of Yellow Cab San Francisco called them incredibly durable, and he was running them up San Francisco hills 21 hours a day, 90,000 miles a year. Taxis retired at 300,000 miles. Ford bought back high-mileage examples and found the packs still holding about 89% of their original capacity. The batteries aren't the weak link. The cooling fans, the coolant pump, and the blend door actuators are. And it returns low 30s while everyone else is. Number 10, Ford Flex. The Flex looks like a refrigerator, and that killed it. Ford discontinued it, nobody has ever considered one cool, and the resale reflects all of that. What you actually get is 3 rows of seats in a vehicle that sits low enough to step into instead of climbing up, with a cargo hold that swallows more than a lot of full-size SUVs. The important part is which engine. Get the naturally aspirated 3.5-liter Duratec, not the EcoBoost. The turbo version is faster and makes 365 horsepower, but you're adding turbochargers and a high-pressure fuel system to a 15-year-old vehicle, and that's the opposite of the point. The base V6 is the same basic architecture Ford has been building for 2 decades. Parts are everywhere, every mechanic knows it, and nobody is bidding against you. Number 9, Buick Rainier. Buick made exactly one truck-based SUV in the modern era, and this was it. The Rainier is one of 6 badges General Motors bolted onto the same midsize platform, which is a story we're coming back to, and it's the one nobody remembers at all. Underneath, it's the same 4.2-liter inline-6 we'll talk about in a minute. Same frame, same everything, wearing a Buick grille and a quieter interior. Because it's a Buick, it got sold to people who serviced it on schedule, so the records tend to exist. Here's the trap, and it's the single most important thing to know. The number 1 problem owners report on the Rainier is the rear air suspension. It sags, it leaks, and the compressor gives up. Buy one with coil springs or budget for the conversion kit immediately. Do that, and the rest of the truck is genuinely hard to kill. Number 8, Mercury Mountaineer. The Mountaineer is a Ford Explorer with better headlights and a dead badge, and it costs thousands less for identical mechanicals. Consumer Reports has late examples valued around $3,000 to $5,000. From 2006 on, you get the 4.6-liter V8, making 292 horsepower with a 6-speed automatic, which is the version to find. Independent rear suspension, real third row, and every Ford mechanic in America already knows this drivetrain. Now the honest part, because this one has a specific tax, it's a Triton engine and Triton spark plugs are famous. The earlier 2-valve heads can eject a plug straight out of the aluminum while you're driving. The 3-valve plugs in the 2006 and later trucks are 2-piece and snap in half when you try to remove them. Ford wrote a service bulletin about it, budget $250 to $750 for that job and use a shop that knows the procedure. It's an annoyance, not a killer. Number 7. Saab 97X. This is the strangest vehicle on the list. When General Motors owned Saab, it needed an SUV for Saab dealers, so it took an American truck, moved the ignition switch down between the seats the way Saab always did, and shipped it out of Moraine, Ohio with a Swedish badge. Almost nobody knows this thing exists, which is precisely why it's cheap. It has the cleanest styling of any version of this platform. And the aero trim is the real prize because it came with the 6.0-liter LS2, the same basic V8 family that was going into Corvettes, making 390 horsepower. A Corvette engine in a Saab SUV that's mechanically an American truck for around $10,000. And here's the detail that actually matters, because it will make sense in about 30 seconds. The Aero did not get the same transmission as the rest of the family. It got the heavier-duty unit instead, and that turns out to be the whole story. The 2009 model year had impressively few complaints and no recalls against it. Almost nobody in the used market even knows this thing was ever built, and that is precisely why you can afford one. Number 6. GMC Envoy. The 4.2-liter Atlas inline-6 is one of the genuinely great forgotten engines. Ward's named it one of the 10 best engines in the world 4 years running, 2002 through 2005. It makes roughly 90% of its torque at 1,800 revolutions per minute, and in 2000, an Atlas-powered Envoy beat V8s at the Pikes Peak hill climb. It's an inline-6, which means it's naturally balanced, and balanced engines don't beat themselves to death. But here's what nobody tells you, and it's the whole buying guide. The engine isn't the weak point. The 4-speed automatic behind it is. It runs hot, it spends too long unlocked in overdrive, and it's the thing that actually fails on these trucks. That's your Saab payoff, by the way. The Aero got the beefier transmission specifically because it had to hold a Corvette V8, which means the weirdest, most forgotten version of this truck is also the toughest one. Check the transmission fluid before you check anything else. And GM recalled 258,000 of these in 2012 for window switches that could catch fire, so confirm that work was done on 2006 and 2007 trucks. Number 5. Mitsubishi Montero. The Montero won the Dakar Rally more times than any other vehicle in history, and America completely forgot. Mitsubishi's reputation here collapsed, took the used values down with it, and left a genuine ladder frame off-roader selling for pocket change. The 3.5-liter 6 G74 V6 is the good one. Owner reports on it are consistently glowing. It handles towing and abuse, and it's cheap to fix on the rare occasion it breaks. Some trims came with a rear locking differential from the factory. Tall glass, upright seating, third row. Here's the one thing that matters, and it isn't optional. This is an interference engine with a timing belt. If that belt snaps, the pistons meet the valves and the engine destroys itself. Get proof the belt was done, or do it the week you buy it. Stay ahead of that one job, and these run forever. Number 4. Chevrolet Suburban. Everyone assumes the Suburban is just a school-run bus, which is why the 9th generation, 2000 through 2006, is one of the most underrated used buys in America. These break into the 200 to 300,000 mile range routinely. The 5.3-liter V8 is a small block, which means it's the most produced, best understood, cheapest to repair V8 architecture on the planet. Any mechanic, any parts counter, any junkyard. The trick is buying the end of the generation, and this rule works on almost every full-size American SUV ever built. A new Suburban arrives, the reviews are lukewarm. Chevy spends the next few years quietly fixing what buyers complained about, and then they cancel it. So the last examples are always the best ones. Go for 2005 or 2006, and the complaints nearly disappear. It's enormous. It seats 9 and it will tow whatever you own. And it's cheap for exactly one reason, which is that it drinks fuel and gas is expensive. The engineering doesn't care what fuel costs. Number 3, Nissan XTERRA. A 2008 XTERRA is a $6,000 truck with 261 horsepower, 281 pound-feet of torque, and 8.3 inches of ground clearance on a real ladder frame. The 4.0-liter VQ40 is a strong engine and the aftermarket loves this thing. But you have to know about one specific failure, or you will get burned, and it has a name. Owners call it the strawberry milkshake of death. On 2005 to 2010 automatics, the transmission cooler lives inside the radiator, and the wall between them cracks. Coolant floods into the transmission fluid, turns pink and frothy, and destroys the transmission from the inside, often with no warning until it's over. Nissan quietly extended the radiator warranty from 3 years to 10. So, 3 ways to stay safe: buy a 2000 to 2004, buy a manual, or check the radiator part number against the corrected one, which I'll put in the description below so you can take it to the seller. Do that homework and it's the bargain of the list. Number 2, Kia Borrego. I promise you have never considered this. In 2009, Kia built a full body-on-frame SUV with a ladder chassis, 3 rows, and an available 4.6-liter TAO V8, making 337 horsepower, rated to tow 7,500 pounds. That's Range Rover towing capacity in a Kia. It arrived at the exact moment gas prices spiked and buyers abandoned V8 SUVs, so it died almost immediately. Search nationally and you'll find a handful listed at any given time. Prices start around $4,000 and clean examples under 100,000 miles sit well below 10. Go read the owner reviews. One says 17 years and going strong. Another just says, it won't die, it starts every time, I'm not selling it. The honest catch is that it's an orphan, so some parts take patience to source. But the drivetrain came out of the Hyundai Genesis, and that's not a fragile thing. Number 1, Nissan Armada and Infiniti QX56. Here's the champion, and here's why it's not close. The 5.6-liter VK56 V8 is built in Deshard, Tennessee, and it uses a timing chain. Think about that against the engine everyone worships, the Toyota 4.7, which needs a timing belt cut out and replaced every 90,000 miles forever. The Nissan doesn't ask. Owners report 305,000 miles with basically 0 repairs outside normal wear. It shares parts with the Titan, the Frontier, and Nissan's commercial vans, so nothing is exotic. And the reason you can buy one cheap right now is beautifully simple. It gets 13 in the city and 18 on the highway, gas is $3.94 and climbing, and every buyer in America is running the other direction. That fuel bill is real, so do the math honestly. Against a smaller V6, you're spending roughly $1,000 a year more. What that money buys is a truck that does not quit. Watch for cracked exhaust manifolds and a fuel pump that can take out the catalytic converter and change the transmission fluid. The Armadas that die are the ones that never got serviced. And that brings us to the end of the list. Here's the thread running through all 12. An unfashionable badge has never once made an engine fragile. A dead brand doesn't reach into the block and weaken it. The market prices the logo on the hood, and right now, expensive gas is doing half that work for you, pushing perfectly good trucks down into money you can actually afford. Buy the maintenance records, not the odometer. Now I want to hear from you. What are you driving right now and how many miles are on it? Drop it in the comments below. I read every single one and your feedback helps shape future videos. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.